Dear students, welcome to 6th semester zoology, paper 6.1, unit 2.1, molecular biology. In this, today I am going to talk about nucleic acids. You have studied already the basics of nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are the macromolecules for the continuity of life. They are the genetic material of all organisms. So, they are nothing but DNA and RNA. They carry the genetic blueprint of the cell and carry the instructions for the functioning of the cell. So, that is the DNA is the one which is carrying the genetic blueprint, and the RNA which carry the instructions from the DNA to the functioning of the cell. So, nucleic acids, so these were discovered about 100 years back by Frederick Mesher in the nucleus of the pus cell, and he called it as nuclein. Later, the Altman studied the chemical nature and called they are nucleic acids. So, they are the molecules of genetic information and genetic transfer. So, there are two main types of nucleic acids. So, DNA, you know that deoxyribose nucleic acid, and ribonucleic acid, RNA. DNA is the genetic material found in all living organisms, from single cell bacteria to multicellular mammals, even the whales. Whereas RNA, mainly involved in protein synthesis, also function as genetic materials in few viruses like coronavirus. The DNA molecules resided in the nucleus of eukaryotes use RNA to communicate with the rest of the cell. So, DNA cannot go and regulate the protein synthesis and functioning of the cell. So, it is the RNA, it is communicated through the RNA. So, what are the main differences between DNA and RNA? So, DNA is located in the nucleus and the cytoplasm of prokaryotic cells, and RNA is also present in the chromosomes, part of the chromosomes, and also they are mainly the part of the ribosomes. So, how exactly the replication? So, DNA, you know that it can replicate by itself, self replication you can see. Then in the RNA, it is the self replication is very rare, and it is transcribed from the DNA. DNA, it is RNA polymerase directed the transcription. You will find in the production of RNA. So, there are the several types of DNA you will find. They occur in the A form, B form, Z form, like that. We will study that later. RNA also many forms you will find: mRNA, tRNA, rRNA, miRNA, shRNA, like that you can see. Then the DNA having two strands, helically twisted you can see, but the RNA having only one strand, rarely they form two strands. The bases, nitrogenous bases found in the DNA: adenine, guanine, cytosine and thymine. In the case the RNA, the same bases, except thymine is replaced by uracil. The base pairing will be always adenine pairs with thymine and guanine pairs with the cytosine. So, here in the RNA, where you will find the adenine pairs with the uracil. The sugar present in DNA is deoxyribose, whereas sugar present in RNA is ribose. The size is a very large molecule. It may be spanning about 4.3 million nucleotides. When compared to DNA, the RNA are smaller molecule. So, the DNA having genetic role, it is the genetic information stored. So, RNA is mainly the role in protein synthesis. It also forms the genetic material in some viruses. Nucleic acids are linear biopolymers composed of nucleotide subunits, you can see. So, the nucleotide. So, this nucleotide, this is a nucleotide. It is having three components: nitrogenous based, then sugar, pentose sugar, and a phosphate. So, this is a monomer. So, this monomer linked with one another to form a polymer or polynucleotide. So, they are linked by phosphodiester bond. Each nucleotide carries a sugar, this is the pentose sugar. It is ribose in case of RNA, it is and the deoxyribose in the case of DNA. The difference is only the in this position in the RNA you will find there is a one oxygen is more that is in the ribose, that is the C5H10O5, whereas deoxyribose it is the C5H10O4. DNA contains deoxyribose sugar and typically exists in double helical form. So, RNA molecules contains ribose sugar exist predominantly as a single stranded molecules. A nucleotide is made up of nucleobase, a 5 carbon sugar and phosphate group. Nucleotide you can see it is also called as nucleoside monophosphate. So, nucleoside means the base and the sugar nucleoside with a monophosphate, it is called the nucleotide. The base of the nucleotides can be either purine base or pyrimidine base. When the sugars are riboses, the nucleotides are ribonucleotides, and sugars are deoxyribose, the nucleotides are called deoxyribonucleotides. Nucleotide triphosphate, you will find this is a nucleotide, this is a base, nitrogenous base, sugar, and this will be the precursor, or else you can see the substrate precursor for the biosynthesis of nucleic acid. So, nucleic acids are synthesized, the substance, the precursor is the one nucleotide triphosphate. This terminal 2 phosphate, the breakdown uses energy for linking purpose. So, on hydrolysis of the nucleotide, you will find phosphoric acid plus nucleoside. So, nucleoside is the base plus you can see the sugar, that is called the nucleoside. There are 5 different nitrogenous bases. You will find there are 2 types, the purines 2 types, pyrimidines 3 types. So, the purines there are double ring compound, there is a benzene ring attached with the imidazole ring, whereas thymine, cytosine, uracil, there are single ring compound, they are pyrimidine. So, the sugar in the nucleic acids are linked to one another by phosphodiester bridge. You can see the one sugar, it is linked to another. This is the phosphate bridge or the linkage, you can see. So, the phosphate here you will find it is linked to the 3 prime of one sugar and 5 prime of the other sugar. So, that is why you will find any nucleotide, nucleic acid, DNA or RNA or polynucleotide chain, it has got a polarity. It is having a 5 prime phosphate and 3 prime OH, you can see. Similarly, 5 prime phosphate and 3 prime OH. So, it is runs in this way, you can see 5 prime to 3 prime. So, the chain of sugars linked by phosphodiester bridges is referred as this is going to form the backbone. The sugar, alternate sugar, phosphate, they are going to become the backbone of the So, how many you can see the bonds you will find here between the base and the sugar, there is you can see the beta glycosidic linkage you will find. Then between the sugar and the phosphate, phosphodiester bond, and you know that between the bases there will be hydrogen bonds. So in a DNA molecule you can see three types of the bonds, hydrogen bonds between the bases, then you can see the glycosidic linkage between the base and the sugar, and phosphodiester bond between the sugar and the phosphate. So nucleic acids have primary, secondary and tertiary structure. So this is a linear primary structure when they are formed, you can see. So the sequence of bases in the nucleic acid chain gives the primary structure of DNA and RNA. The sequence of bases is read by the 5' to 3' direction, you know that. Watson and Crick explained the double helical model of DNA. This is a secondary structure of the DNA. Similarly, all RNAs when synthesized, they are in this form, they are linear primary structure. It undergoes folding, give rise to secondary structure. It is further undergoes twisting and all, then give rise to tertiary structure. The tRNA and rRNA functions either in secondary or else in the tertiary structure, whereas mRNA function in its primary structure. So coming to the detailed account of DNA. So you know already DNA is the genetic material of almost all organisms. It is a double stranded nucleic acid present chiefly in the nucleus of the eukaryotic cell. You will find in the chromosome, associated with the chromosome, associated with the histones to give the chromosome structure you have studied in last sem. So DNA is found in the cytoplasm of the prokaryotic cells. A small fraction of DNA is also present in mitochondria and chloroplast you have studied. So DNA is a polymer. The building blocks of DNA are deoxyribonucleotides. This is a deoxyribonucleotides composed of 5 carbon sugar, deoxyribose and a phosphate and the base. The base here purines, the adenine and guanine, and pyrimidines thymine and cytosine. So the DNA polynucleotide chain, as I said, it is a polarity. It is a 5' and this is the 3'. So the 3' hydroxyl. So this is very important. So the whenever there is a replication, the new nucleotides will be added in this 3OH region. So the phosphate bridges between 5' to 3' carbons of the sugar. So you will find here, you can see from 5' to 3' you can see the phosphate here in the adenine, then thymine ATGCA. So the hydroxyl at the 3' end. So that's why it is they have polarity. So then the Chergaff's rule regarding the base pairing, he proposed the complementary base pairing rule. So according to that, DNA from any organism should have 1:1 stoichiometric ratio of purine and pyrimidine bases. So that's why A plus G is equal to T plus C. The amount of G should be equal to C. The amount of A should be equal to T. So it is always, you can see the bases adenine the pairs with the thymine with the through 2 hydrogen bonds, and guanine pairs with the cytosine through 3 hydrogen bonds. So this is the base pairing rule of Chergaff. Then coming to the Watson and Crick model of the DNA, it is the DNA double helix. There is a 2 polynucleotide chain of DNA twisted like a ladder. You have studied already all this in a clockwise manner in a right hand double helix. So the backbone contains phosphate, and you know that is contains phosphate and the sugar in alternate, it is forming the backbone, and the rungs are made by the base pairing nitrogenous bases. You can see these 2 strands are anti-parallel. One is running in this direction, another is running in this direction, 5', 3', 3' and 5' here. The 2 strands are anti-parallel, I said you can see here, this is the 5' and this is the 3' and 5'. So 2 strands have complementary base, you know that the G pairs with the C, 3 hydrogen bonds, and T pairs with the A, 2 hydrogen bonds. So, the complement base pairing bases of the two DNA strands pair in only one way, A pairs with the T and G pairs with the C. You will able to see the weak chemical bond of the hydrogen bonds. They are very helpful in during the replication process. There is a, you can see the unwinding process will be helpful because of these weak bonds. So, the one full turn you will find the DNA includes one major groove, and this is a major groove in the molecule, and one minor groove. So, this is a major groove and this is a minor groove. So, this major groove, it is 2.2 nanometer, and the minor groove the size of 1.2 nanometer. So, this is the model proposed by Watson and Crick. So, Watson and Crick, the model, it has got two grooves, as I said, a major groove and a minor groove. So, the base pairs, so this it is they are about 3.4 angstroms apart. So, when there is a one completed turn, there is a 10 base pairs, and which spans between 3.4 nanometer. So, the sugar and phosphate forms the backbones of the. So, this is the historic paper of the Watson and Crick in the published in Nature on April 25th, 1953. So, this the Nobel award given to their model in 1962. So, this entire genetic message that controls the chemistry of the cell is written in the language of just 4 nitrogenous bases: adenine, guanine, purine, cytosine and thymine. Specific combination of these bases forms the genetic code. So, the discovery of the double helical model revolutionized the field of this is the double helical model of the Watson and Crick, that revolutionized the field of biology. So, the knowledge of double helical structure of DNA enabled scientists all over the world in unraveling. Later you can see the molecular biology branch developed, and it has now there are so many branches. You can see molecular genetics, then biotechnology, molecular biotechnology, bioinformatics, all these branches, because of so much of information, so much of knowledge, the scientist could able to derive, because based on this model. So, this is the finding the double helical model for this DNA is the one landmarking research, or else the research of the last century. It provided an immediate explanation for so many processes like mutation, genetic variation, species diversity, evolution. So much of information one can able to derive, that is, it was a big question mark earlier, because the what is the chemical nature or physical nature of the genetic material was not known. So, this provided an answer for all these. So, all these branches now they have grown in an extraordinary way. So, this is what you can see, the Francis Crick, James D. Watson and the Wilkins, they have awarded with Nobel Prize in Physiology for this. They published the paper in the Nature journal. So, somehow already they could able to make the model based on the X-ray crystallography picture of Rosalinda Franklin, but these scientists are so mean, they have not included her name in their paper. So, she has not received the Nobel Prize, even though her contribution is also she has also made a major contribution. This is how it's a male dominated society, these things will happen. So the double helical model provided a ready explanation for how DNA could able to replicate. Rapid advances in the understanding of life processes have taken place by the discovery of this scientific breakthrough. So that's why DNA is considered as the molecule of the century. So this is what the crystal you can see the X-ray image of DNA crystals, what this Rosalind Franklin, so that helped Watson and Crick to build up their double helical model. So the Rosalind Franklin X-ray photographs are among the most beautiful of any substance ever taken. It is the image of 40s, but still now no molecule given such a clear beautiful image. So that's based on that you can see the Crick and the Watson, they have able to build up this So it is the DNA is called Mona Lisa. No molecule in science reached such iconic status like DNA. Its image has been imprinted in all aspects of society, from science to art, music, cinema, architecture, where whatnot. So just I remember my in 2004 we have celebrated 50 years of double helix in our college. For that, the James Watson himself, he wished move forward using the knowledge of DNA. So this is what the message of James D. Watson and his signature, and this is inaugurated by the former Vice Chancellor of Coimbatore University, Professor Chidananda Gowda, and this is a picture of our famous DNA past, present and future, a 2 days seminar. It has it is of a big success. You may see here all the scientists in the front row and the whole Coimbatore Rangamandira filled with the students and the teachers from all over the state gathered on that occasion. Thank you.